I live. Therefore I make films. I make films. Therefore I live. Life. Movement. I make home movies. Therefore I live. I live. Therefore I make home movies.
I always have my camera with me, and I never know when I will feel like, yeah, this is something what I want to record for myself. And I don't know what I will do with it, or I will, or will I ever do anything with it. Maybe it will just sit on the shelf. I grew up in a small farming village north of Lithuania, on the border of Latvia, Lithuania. And in a small village, when I say small, it was small. There were like 20 families. There was no electricity, no radios, of course, no television. And of course, water is from your own well. You know, water that tasted like wine almost. So that was, I consider that I grew up in paradise. Then the Soviets came and they brought hell. And my paradise ended with the Soviet tanks rolling in.
How was that period?
That period was, my brother on my birthday decided to give us gave me still camera as a present. And it happened so that like the same week the Russian tanks began rolling in along our road. That, dusty road with tanks and army, I will take my first picture still with my still camera. What an occasion. I run to the road with my little camera, snap. And the Russian, some lieutenant, somebody runs to me, grabs the camera out of my hands, pulls out the film, rips out, throws it on in the road, dusty country road, dust, and rubs in with his boot. So that was the beginning of my film and photography career. My first image ended up on the Russian soldier's boot in the dust of my village. So that's part of where I come from. In the post-war, displaced person camps in Germany, in Wiesbaden and Kassel, I had seen some films, mostly myself, my brother. We could see only what American army went through the American army, and they got already, they saw it and they did not want to see them anymore, so they dropped into those camps. And those were really very bad third, fourth rate movies. You couldn't see anything. But one day we saw the Houston's Treasures of Sierra Madre, which already we thought, there's something, you could do something in cinema. But it was not that serious until we came to New York. This is the only viewer in existence. There is they made this and they thought that people will be interested, filmmakers will be interested in it, but nobody was interested, so they gave it to me. But it's very gentle to film, and you can see it projects, it's upside down, somebody there, maybe it's even me. United Nations Refugee Organization dropped us, began breaking up, getting rid of those camps and sending groups of people to Canada, Australia, and I was lucky, we were lucky that they sent us to United States. We're supposed to go to Chicago. And there was a job for us in a bakery. So if we would have gone to Chicago, we would have become great bakers. But we saw New York, and we said, crazy, you should go to Chicago? And we are in New York. You have to be crazy to go to Chicago. You are dropped here where everything is available. It was incredible. You could go and see everything, buy any book, go any movie, we could not be, and we were hungry, and we came like empty sponges, ready to absorb anything that was there, and that's what we did. We had our bollocks, but and we had no. We still, in our heads, we still were in that kind of mentality that cinema is Hollywood, because that's all we had heard. Until it took months, a couple of years, when we really discovered that there is that cinema is not just Hollywood. There are different varieties. We began seeing already in the early American avant-garde. There were discovered film societies in New York that cinema had other branches besides the Hollywood cinema. And that's where we began rethinking our, what we really fit, what we really want to do. We thought, okay, we will be going, try to get into Hollywood and make our big movies there, but meanwhile we have to practice and master the language of cinema, what a camera can do, all the tricks. So we kept filming, collecting some material, and time went, and then it's then that some years later I began looking at the footage that I had collected during those early years. It's then that I realized that footage was like keeping a diary, because those materials that I was filming was, from our real life. So I thought that's what I will do first, and that's what I did. That's how Walden became my first diary film. From there on, I did not throw out anything, and when I became aware, it has to be personal and me, and it has to be extension of my hand. That camera is extension, then becomes like a painter. The brush is extension of your total you, what you are. It's not you don't think that now I have to move the brush right, now up, now down. No, it's all intuitive. It's all painter. Same with my filming. I have used up 4 Bolexes before I went to video. It's a deal because you have control frame by frame. You can shoot frame by frame or run 24 frames per second, or you can run just maybe slow down to practically 4 or 5 frames per second, and wind back and double expose, and it's very precise. That's why I used Bolex. Lost. It begins really when we just arrived in New York. So it goes through a good 15 years period. And during that period, I was working on myself and changing, and there are different periods of my life, work and thinking, and ends already when I have uh, already like a new family with new friends, uh, uh, with a new set of memories, and the film ends already. I am completely somewhere else. And I have like escaped the wartime, post-war memories, depressions, that I somehow managed to put myself, all those 1,000 pieces together. That's where the film ends. So you can call it, but just at the gates of paradise. Maybe not in paradise, but somewhere by the gates, close to the gates of paradise.
Tell where you have been. Tell what you have seen. And tell the story of a man who never wanted to leave his home.
As we were moving towards the 60s, we thought that we should get together, and maybe if we act as a group, then maybe it will be easier to finance our films. One thing that came out of it was creation of filmmakers cooperative, so that we created our own distribution center where we had complete control, and we could distribute, make available whatever we wanted, while all the other established film distributors did not take our films seriously. They did not want to distribute them. So we said, why don't we create our own cooperative kind of distribution center? And that's what we did. There was Shirley Clark, Lionel Rogerson, Robert Frank, Leslie, Emil D'Antonio, about 20 of us. It showed that you can make a film almost, we did not need a lot of money to make a film. And it was created at my loft, which was 414 Park Avenue South. So that Filmmakers Cooperative, my loft became hangout not only during the day, but also in the evenings of filmmakers, artists, poets of any kind. It was a very busy place. And there, that filmmakers used to bring their films that they shot like a day before to show to each other, and almost every evening something was going there. And so one of the people, and I did not know, I discovered like a month or two later, was Andy Warhol. I did not know him at all. There were people sitting, there were no chairs, people sitting on the floor, and he was there on the floor like everybody else. But then somebody said, you don't know Andy Warhol? He has been, in your loft, for months, and you don't know him? I said, I don't know him. So I was introduced to him, and that's how we met. And sometimes I filmed, in the studio, or later when he bought some land in Long Island, and he spent some during the summer, many weekends he spent in Long Island. So I used to go there sometimes to stay also for for a week or two, and so I filmed him there, and through the years, and then I didn't, just footage. It's a more personal, the way sort of when he was not surrounded by any of the, when he was usually just himself. So I strung it together, all those pieces together, and that was how the scenes from the life of Andy Warhol came into existence. Otherwise it would be still in pieces. Chance has its own logic. Chance, maybe improvisation, has stronger logic than anything that you could invent by your mind artificially, because it's out of your control. It works according to its own laws. And you just do it, you just follow it without thinking. I never think when I film tape. I'm just totally with it, with what's happening there. And chance is all part of it. Sometimes what you control and you impose, it's has nothing to do with the essence of what's really happening there. But if you are totally open and give yourself up to it, just to camera and what's there, submerge with it, and you just follow, then you catch something that is what's happening in the situation. I mean, there is certain selectivity of what I am attracted to film, to record, to tape, that I'm not attracted to anything that one could vaguely and maybe superficially refer as ugly or horrible or evil, or use any of those words. I'm more attracted to those situations, images, which again superficially one would describe as more happy events, happy situations. I grew up in a happy sort of family. That of course has an effect on me. But then, after you go through again what I went through later, through 10 years of hell, then again I don't want to. Why should I represent and show in my movies any of the hell which we see already in life? There is so much of it going everywhere these days, that I want people give people that if you something that you spend time with it, looking at it, it makes you, it does something to you that is pleasant, not displeasant, or something that upsets you and you have bad dreams. Which most of what, if you watch television, you go through various channels for 1 hour, and I bet you will have bad, horrible dreams that night. So that's, I don't want that. And they say, oh, you're an escapist. No, or you can call me a moralist. Filming somebody who is wrapping a present for somebody, it's very simple. You buy something and it's somebody's birthday, you want to give, and you get, and you're wrapping. But you see, when you do that, the act of wrapping a present for a friend or unwrapping a present that you received from a friend is a ritual, is a certain, in their intensity of feeling. This moment is in a small way, is a unique moment and you do it in a certain very special way. Now to catch what there is in that moment, that's what I'm interested. That's what the challenge is, because that's the most difficult thing to do.